Have you ever wondered why the Prophet made a special do for Barakah in the mornings? Why do some Muslims achieve more success, peace and productivity while others struggle, even though they work hard? The secret might be hidden in what you do right after Fajr prayer. Do you go back to sleep, or do you unlock the blessings of those sacred hours? Today, we're diving deep into the reality of sleeping after Fajr. Is it a path to success or a road to loss? Stay tuned, because what you'll discover can completely transform your mornings and your life. One of the greatest treasures in Islam is the blessing Barakah that Allah places in time. Not all hours of the day are equal. Some moments carry greater weight, reward and potential than others. Among these, the early morning hours, especially after Fajr prayer, hold a unique place of honor. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized this repeatedly through his words and his lifestyle, guiding the Ummah toward making the most of this blessed period. The Prophet's dua for morning Barakah, the Messenger of Allah prayed, "O Allah, bless my nation in their early mornings." So Tirmidhi. This profound supplication highlights that the morning hours are divinely gifted with Barakah. It means that any effort, work, or act of worship done during this time carries multiplied benefits compared to other hours of the day. The Prophet's prayer is a reminder that success, spiritual or worldly, begins with making use of the early morning. The practice of the companions of the Prophet were very attentive to this teaching. It is reported that they would begin their trades, farming and learning soon after Fajr. Rather than returning to sleep, they would seek their sustenance and fulfill their responsibilities early. This habit not only brought them barakah in their income, but also discipline in their lives. Many of them testified that their businesses flourished because they acted on the Prophet's advice and dua for morning blessings. Morning as a time of spiritual clarity, the Quran itself hints at the spiritual importance of the early hours. Allah says, "Indeed, the recitation of the Quran at dawn is ever witnessed." See 1778. Scholars explain that this means angels bear witness to the recitation of Quran during Fajr and shortly after. In this peaceful, distraction-free time, a believer's heart is softer and the words of Allah settle more deeply into the soul. Following the Prophet's guidance, engaging in Quran recitation, dhikr, or dua after Fajr brings both immediate tranquility and long-term spiritual strength. Barakah in worldly affairs. The Prophet did not limit morning Barakah to worship alone. It also extends to work, education and family life. Starting the day early means more productivity, sharper focus and greater opportunities. Modern science now affirms what the Prophet taught centuries ago, that the human mind functions best in the early hours. This is why successful people across cultures emphasize waking up early. For Muslims, this habit is not just about productivity, but also about aligning with the Sunnah and drawing from divine blessings. Avoiding the loss of morning blessings. When a person chooses to sleep after Fajr out of laziness or habit, they risk losing this priceless gift. The Prophet warned against wasting time and encouraged his followers to be people of action. Barakah is not just about how much we earn or achieve, but how beneficial, peaceful and long-lasting it is. The early morning hours carry a secret multiplier effect. Missing them is like closing the door to opportunities that Allah Himself has opened. In conclusion, prophetic guidance on morning Barakah is clear. The early hours are a time of divine favor, unmatched clarity and abundant blessings. A believer who treasures these hours aligns themselves with the dua of the Prophet and opens doors of both spiritual light and worldly success. By embracing this guidance, one transforms ordinary mornings into extraordinary foundations for a blessed life. Sleep is one of Allah's greatest blessings, allowing the body to rest and the mind to recharge. However, when taken in excess or at the wrong times, it can become a source of harm, both spiritually and physically. One of the most overlooked dangers is oversleeping after Fajr, especially when it becomes a daily habit. The Prophet emphasized the blessings of the early hours, but when a believer chooses to waste them in unnecessary sleep, the result is a silent spiritual loss that often goes unnoticed. Missing the morning Barakah, the Messenger of Allah made a powerful dua, "O Allah, bless my nation in their early mornings." This means that the time after Fajr carries a unique blessing for worship, learning and livelihood. When a person oversleeps during this period, they miss out on a treasure that can never be regained. Unlike wealth, which can be earned again, or opportunities that may return, the blessing of a missed morning is gone forever. Each sunrise carries a portion of Barakah, and sleeping it away leads to a slow but sure deprivation of divine favor. Weakening the spiritual heart, the time after Fajr is filled with tranquility, purity, divine presence. Reciting Quran or engaging in dhikr in these hours fills the heart with light. But oversleeping makes the heart heavy, lazy, and distant from remembrance. Becomes harder to focus in prayer later in the day, harder to control anger, and harder to maintain consistency in worship. Just as overeating makes the body sluggish, oversleeping dulls the spiritual senses. The believer who constantly misses the early morning hours will notice a decline in their spiritual sharpness and emotional resilience. Falling into the trap of laziness, the Prophet sought refuge from laziness in his daily dues, teaching us that it is a disease of the soul. Oversleeping after Fajr feeds this laziness. It sends a message to the self that comfort is more important than discipline, rest more valuable than productivity. Over time, this mentality seeps into other areas of life: worship, work, family responsibilities. The result is a person who struggles to achieve, procrastinates in good deeds, and finds little barakah in their daily routine. Lost opportunities for rizq and growth. The companions of the Prophet used to begin their work or learning immediately after Fajr. They believed that the key to success was making use of these blessed hours. Oversleeping not only causes a person to miss spiritual opportunities but also worldly ones. Work is delayed, planning is neglected, and chances to grow are lost. Even if wealth is earned later, it often lacks barakah, bringing stress rather than peace. True success lies not in how much we earn, but in the blessings all are places within it. And oversleeping is one of the barriers to that blessing. A gateway to bad habits. Oversleeping after Fajr is rarely an isolated habit. It often leads to staying up late at night unnecessarily, neglecting Ish prayer in congregation, or wasting time on entertainment. The cycle becomes destructive: staying up late, oversleeping in the morning, missing out on barakah, and feeling spiritually empty. This pattern slowly erodes one's relationship with Allah and weakens the discipline that faith requires. In conclusion, the spiritual loss of oversleeping is far greater than we realize. It robs us of morning barakah, weakens the heart, fuels laziness, blocks opportunities, and feeds other bad habits. Sleep is a blessing, but only when balanced. By valuing the hours after Fajr, a believer protects their heart from spiritual decline and opens the doors of divine light, productivity, and success. Islam teaches us that both spiritual and worldly success are tied to discipline, effort, and the right use of time. Among the most powerful lessons from the Sunnah is the importance of starting one's day early, especially after Fajr prayer. The Prophet prayed for blessings in the early hours, and his companions practiced this teaching in their daily lives. When a believer stays awake after Fajr and invests that time wisely, they set the foundation for both spiritual enrichment and worldly achievement. Early effort opens doors to rizq. The Prophet said, "O Allah, bless my nation in their early mornings." This due connects success directly to the hours after Fajr. The companions took this seriously. Traders would open their shops early, farmers would begin tending their fields, and seekers of knowledge would revise lessons in the calm morning air. They believed that rizq was not just about earning wealth, but about maximizing barakah in their efforts. Those who acted early saw their work prosper, while those who delayed often found themselves struggling with wasted time and reduced productivity. The science of early productivity, modern research confirms what the Prophet taught centuries ago. Studies show that the brain is sharper, memory is stronger, and focus is clearer in the morning hours. A student who studies after Fajr absorbs knowledge more effectively. A professional who begins their tasks early finds greater creativity and decision-making power. By aligning with the natural rhythm Allah has created, a believer finds themselves performing better in both worship and worldly matters. The hidden success is that early effort multiplies results, saving time later in the day. Discipline builds character. Success in life is not only about intelligence or resources, it is about consistency and discipline. Waking up early and avoiding oversleeping after Fajr trains a nafs ego to value structure over laziness. This habit builds resilience and a mindset of responsibility. Over time, such discipline shapes character, making a person more reliable, organized, and capable of handling challenges. These qualities are the true foundation of worldly success, whether in business, education, barakah beyond money. Worldly success is not measured only in wealth. It also includes health, peace of mind, strong relationships, and time well spent. By utilizing the morning hours, one creates balance, worshipping Allah, engaging in family time, exercising, or planning the day. This balance adds barakah to life, ensuring that success is not just material gain, but also inner contentment. A person may earn less money, but live with greater peace and fulfillment because their time and effort are blessed. Avoiding the trap of delayed starts. Oversleeping after Fajr often causes a chain reaction of delays, late breakfast, late work, and a rushed day. The Prophet disliked wasting time and encouraged his followers to act with energy and purpose. Delaying effort not only blocks success but also adds stress. On the other hand, starting early allows tasks to be completed on time, leaving room for growth, creativity, and family. This is why many of the most successful people, even outside Islam, emphasize early rising as the key to achievement. In conclusion, worldly success is deeply linked to early effort. Islam does not separate spiritual life from worldly achievement. Instead, it unites them. By acting on the Prophet's guidance to value the hours after Fajr, a believer gains the barakah of Allah and the practical benefits of discipline, productivity and peace. The reality is simple. Those who rise early and strive sincerely find success in both this world and the next. Islam is a religion of balance and moderation. It recognizes human needs while also guiding believers toward what brings them the most benefit in this world and the hereafter. The matter of sleeping after Fajr is a perfect example of how Islam provides a balanced way of life. On one side, the Prophet encouraged his ummah to make use of the early hours, asking Allah to bless them with barakah in the mornings. On the other side, Islam does not forbid rest when it becomes necessary because the body has rights as well. A balanced Islamic approach ensures that neither spiritual blessings are lost nor physical health is neglected. The Sunnah encourages making use of early hours. The Prophet said, Allah, bless my nation in their early mornings. This shows the value of staying awake after Fajr, engaging in dhikr, Quran recitation, seeking knowledge or starting work. His companions practiced this Sunnah by beginning their daily activities early, whether in trade, farming or learning. This not only brought them more productivity but also infused their efforts with divine barakah. The lesson is clear. Those who remain awake after Fajr and use their time wisely align themselves with a prophetic lifestyle of success. Islam recognizes the need for rest at the same time. Islam acknowledges that people have different circumstances. If someone stayed up late in worship, caring for family or working through the night, they may genuinely need rest after Fajr. For such a person, sleep is not blameworthy but necessary. The Prophet himself sometimes rested in the day, showing that sleep is part of maintaining balance. What Islam discourages is unnecessary, habitual oversleeping that leads to laziness and the loss of morning blessings, not occasional rest when the body truly requires it. Avoiding extremes, the balanced path avoids two extremes. Strictness, thinking that sleeping after Fajr is absolutely forbidden at all times, which the Sharia does not say. Neglect, treating the early hours as worthless, rushing back to bed and consistently missing out on the blessings of productivity and worship. The Quran calls this Ummah middle nation. 21 through 30, and this principle applies here too. A believer should neither be too hard on themselves in denying rest, nor careless in wasting valuable time. Combining worship and worldly duties, a balanced approach also means dividing the post-Fajr hours between worship and worldly responsibilities. Even if a person must rest afterward, they should try to dedicate at least a short time to Quran, dhikr or do. This way, they do not miss the spiritual treasures of the early morning. Then if needed, they can take a nap with the intention of recharging for the day's tasks. The Prophet encouraged midday napsi kelula, which indicates that Islam provides flexibility in balancing rest and productivity. Health and long-term consistency. True balance means caring for both the soul and the body. Oversleeping harms discipline and spirituality, but lack of rest harms health and concentration. A believer who maintains a balanced routine, sleeping enough at night, staying awake after Fajr when possible, and resting when necessary, will find that their life becomes more structured, peaceful and productive. Consistency in this balance is what Islam desires, a way of life that is sustainable, not burdensome. In conclusion, the balanced Islamic approach to sleeping after Fajr teaches us moderation. The Sunnah guides us to value the early hours and avoid wasting them, but Islam does not burden us with rigidity when genuine rest is required. By staying mindful of both our spiritual opportunities and physical needs, we can live in harmony with the wisdom of the Prophet, making the most of every morning while maintaining health and balance.